What is going on, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to draft another 2024 fantasy football team. That's what we're here for. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put together an amazing 2024 fantasy football team on Underdog Fantasy tonight. So hop on in here, get in the live chat. Let's talk some fantasy football. Let's do it. I'm excited. Happy to be here with you guys. I'm going to enter a Best Ball Mania draft tonight. It's been a couple streams since we got into Best Ball Mania, so that's where I am headed tonight. 30 seconds per pick lobby. Let's do it. Maybe. Let's try again. Hold on. We will solve this. Had this happen before, but it usually doesn't keep happening. Hold on. All right, there we go. 11 spots. So if you guys want to draft with me, there are 10 current spots. You should be able to get in tonight. So, I want to draft very badly tonight. J-Dub said he missed it. Why? How? We have spots. Did you get into another lobby? Like when I tried to get in at first? J-Dubs, we need you. We need you in this draft. Okay? I'm in the first room. Leave it. Leave the first room. I know you probably can't. That's such a bummer, dude. Such a bummer. I'm always looking forward to you being in the drafts with me, man. I think I'm going to go... we'll see where I draft from tonight. But I think I'm going to go a little aggressive at wide receiver. We'll see what happens. 4 spots open. All right. All right, let me know how you guys are doing. We got some interesting speculation for the day. Okay. CeeDee Lamb wants to be paid as the second highest wide receiver in the NFL. That's what he's asking for. Nice self-awareness, CeeDee Lamb, to say I should not be paid as much or more than Justin Jefferson. Right. This is the report we're getting. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pulling it up now. This would put CeeDee Lamb, like he wants to make $32 million per year. So that puts him above Tyreek Hill, not by much, but by a smidge. Well, hold on. I'm looking at per year. All right, where am I? I'm at 1.1. Oh, J-Dubs, you got in. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Oh, I need to change. Hold on. I guess this is no. I think I was on the right screen. I don't know what I'm doing. That's what I wanted. I'm sorry. Or do I want this one? I want this one. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm confused at what I'm looking at right now because I'm an idiot. But this would put him next to A.J. Brown and below Justin Jefferson. Okay. Completely reasonable. I'm on the clock. Gosh, I'm an idiot. I'm going to go CMC here, but okay, CMC. Yeah, so put him next to AJ Brown below Justin Jefferson. It's a reasonable ask, right? We hadn't brought this up too much, but like CeeDee Lamb has been like fully healthy his entire career, like completely dependable, right? So I think that's a huge aspect of this. Like in 2019, let's see, 2020, he didn't play in 2019. 2020, he didn't play in week 18. 2021, he missed one game. Other than that, has not missed a game. Has not missed a game in the last 2 seasons. It's been extremely productive. It's just like Steven and Jerry Jones, you guys got to get this done, okay? And if it doesn't get done, he's requesting a trade, is the report we're getting as of today. And, it would be very interesting to see CeeDee Lamb and or Brandon Ayuk go to different teams. But I would kind of just prefer these guys to stay where they are. So, and I think both are in situations where they should just get paid, right? Maybe like there's a little wiggle room with Brandon Ayuk, but when we look at the top paid wide receivers in the NFL right now, all right, let's look at right now. I got pulled up at total guaranteed. Dude, let's see. I guess total guaranteed is what I want to look at. I'm an idiot. This site I'm on has way too many options. All right, let's just look at total guaranteed. If this is not the right thing, then whatever. But AJ's number 1. AJ Brown's number 2. Amon-Ra St. Brown's number 3. Jalen Waddle's now number 4. Cooper Kupp's number 5. Tyreek Hill's number 6. Devontae Adams number 7. Amari Cooper number 8. Metcalf's number 9. Deebo Samuel's number 10. So, I think when you look at that list of wide receivers, there's easily an argument that Brandon Ayuk should be in that mix. Maybe there's an argument he shouldn't be, but we look at Ayuk, another player who's been pretty dang healthy throughout his entire season, or his entire career, 2020, his rookie season, he missed some time. He played 12 games out of 18. Other than that, 2021, he missed 1 game. 2022, he missed 1 game. If I'm looking at this correctly. And then 2023, as last year, he missed 1 game. So, also not too bad. Lamb, better. But if we're looking at dependability, not bad. Dependability. I botched that word. But yeah, I think you could argue like Ayuk. So, actually, let me pull this back up. When we're looking at terms of production, 748 receiving yards, 2020, 5 TDs. 826 receiving yards, 2021, 5 TDs. Just over 1,000 receiving yards, 2022, 8 touchdowns. Over 1,300 receiving yards last year was 7 touchdowns. I think the last 2 years, obviously, much more impressive in terms of fighting for this contract. But when you look at CeeDee Lamb, the numbers are drastically better in those first 2 seasons, right? But also missed some time in 2020. That was a weird season. That's when Deebo really came on as a... No, that was 2021 when Deebo did all those crazy things. But yeah, that was always a weird report too, was supposedly after Ayuk's rookie season where he was still very good for a rookie. Off of 60 receptions, 748 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns through 12 games. Still very good numbers, 96 targets, right? But then the reports going in 2021 were that Ayuk was going to get utilized a lot more. And then he got utilized less. He had 84 targets. Still turned that into a more productive season, even with just 56 receptions, 826 receiving yards, and matched the 5 touchdowns from the season before. But that was a year that Deebo went absolutely crazy, and we saw Deebo being utilized in all these different ways. And that's a year Deebo, was being used as a rusher a ton as well. And then 2022, 2023, like I said, were the more productive years for Brandon Ayuk. Still, with all that being said, right, I think you can argue with Waddle coming in at number 4. Cooper and Metcalf, no disrespect to those guys, very, very productive. I think that right now you can still argue that Ayuk should be in that mix somewhere. So definitely not where CeeDee Lamb is going to be at, but I think somewhere in there, right? And he might get close to just give me Debo. He might get close to Waddle money though. Give me Mike Evans here, baby. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But we've got that news. And I also read a report today that Rashee Rice may not be getting suspended until 2025. Now, this is just one report, and I have like already heard this as a potential possibility, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that any of the other potential scenarios for Rashee Rice won't happen, right? I mean, this is just once again off-season buzz. Like I hate off-season stuff, but according to an NFL insider who reports that the wide receiver could be waiting until next year to discover any punishment from the league, it was previously claimed that the Chiefs expect Rice to be suspended for at least half of the upcoming campaign. He's still expected to receive a multi-game suspension, according to ESPN. ESPN insisted that the Chiefs are still in the dark, but the report cited the example of Alvin Kamara, who played a whole season while facing battery charges before being banned the following year. So, could see this play out as another Alvin Kamara type situation where things bleed into the following season. So, just a report that came out today, and I know that some of you guys were already like aware this was a potential possibility. But with that being said, I have talked a lot about Rashee Rice throughout this offseason, and especially in best ball drafts, right? He is still a player that I think in best ball you should, in underdog drafts, you should be drafting right now because while we still probably won't have an answer on this until who really knows, right? With off-season type punishments, but probably until next month, middle of next month, we probably won't get a clear answer on what's going to happen here. But let's say we do, especially if this is not going to be a suspension until next season, we probably there's still time for that to get done, leading into the final week of August and leading up to week 1 in September, right? So even then, if we're playing the waiting game for a potential Rashee Rice suspension in 2025, it's not going to feel great. But even if it does get announced that the suspension is 4 games, 6 games gets reduced to 4 games, 6 games gets reduced to 3 games, 8 games gets reduced to 6 games, whatever it is, he's still just a great value right now. I mean, his ADP is 70 overall on Underdog. I think he's dropped a smidge, but especially if you're going kind of aggressive at wide receiver and you're able to draft Rashee Rice as your wide receiver 4. I mean, I know I've said this a lot, your wide receiver 5. I still absolutely love that. And if we fall into the potential scenario that Rashee Rice does not face suspension this year, his ADP is going to skyrocket. I do believe he'll get selected before Hollywood Brown, who's being drafted at 50.8 on Underdog right now, and definitely before Xavier Worthy if that happens. And if he's not drafted before Hollywood Brown, I think he'll be drafted right after 52, 54, 55, 56. Xavier Worthy is going at 61.2, so maybe pick 58, somewhere in that ADP, right? So if we get that news, you're going to see his ADP skyrocket. Plus, you're just going to be locking up a really good value. Last year, we had the unique opportunity with some running backs, Austin Eckler at times, which, don't get me wrong, did not pay off. But Saquon Barkley at a certain point in the offseason, Josh Jacobs, which once again didn't exactly pay off. But due to their contract situations, completely different type of situation, of course. While you could lock those up throughout the offseason, it felt really good once we got the actual news that, things were going to actually, or those specific players are going to be re-signing with their teams and they shot up in ADP, right? The only other player you really could get a discount on last offseason that really paid off was Breece Hall. It was like people were so scared about Breece Hall throughout like the entire offseason that he like what Breece Hall was still going in like round 4 or 5, like even going into September. So, anyways, just saying, Rashee Rice, we shall see. Might be a huge value. All right, so J-Dub's good to see you in the chat. Glad you got in on a second draft. Sorry if you're doing 2 at once right now, bro. Cameron, good to see you. How are you doing, man? Craig, what's up, dude? Gonna be another fun year, absolutely. Shane, good to have you in the house. How are you guys doing tonight? All right, so I'm just doing it. I feel like every time I draft from the 1.1, I end up going in on this Patty Mahomes, Hollywood Brown stack right here, and then waiting to see if Rashee Rice falls at 72. You know? And, you know, picking Debo at 2.12 with Christian McCaffrey and getting Mike Evans at 3.1 puts me in a situation where, like, drafting Brock Purdy late. Brock Purdy's ADP right now. And yes, I drafted Mahomes after or before Lamar Jackson. Go and roast me. I get it. But Brock Purdy's ADP is 113. So, like, I mean, we're kind of reaching for him at ADP, being that we had picked 97 and 120, but oh well. And then Baker, money maker, we can probably get at 168. Or, I mean, his ADP is 169. So, yeah, we're like in perfect position to get Baker. So, really getting Mahomes here might go against given strategy. Plus, it's not like you don't always see Lamar Jackson last this long, right? This was kind of like a light quarterback draft. No QBs through the first 3 rounds. Then Allen didn't go till 4.6. I thought Hurts was almost going to fall out to the 4.12. He goes at the 4.10. So, criticism fair there potentially, but I am locking up that stack from the 1.1 a lot. Did a lot in puppy drafts and best ball drafts so far. So, we'll see. But here's the team so far. C-Mac, Debo, Evans, Mahomes, Hollywood Brown. All right, Cameron says, zoom the shot out. You mean the draft? Does it not look good? I put a lot of work getting into, getting the draft into full screen mode here. Craig, do you keep up with the NBA? I have been a little bit, but truthfully, when it comes to the NBA and when it comes to hockey and when it comes to baseball, I don't really pay attention until playoffs, and then I start watching. But since I have Sleeper on my phone and I don't have notifications turned off, I've been getting like all of the NBA updates for free agency to my phone because Sleeper tracks those. And so I've been somewhat kept up, but not a whole lot. But Paul George is going to the 76ers, right? Really, the only thing I know off the top of my head, is that Klay Thompson's going to the Mavericks. So, there's my update. Yeah, so for the view of the draft, I have it like this. I can do this. But I just, I feel weird when my face takes up part of the draft board. But let me know if you think that looks better, Cameron. Also, for some reason, the chat's not showing on the screen, which is annoying me. I really need to figure out how to get the YouTube chat active on the screen when I stream through Streamlabs desktop, because I don't like when it's not there. It feels so much more interactive for you guys when it is there. Deontay Johnson goes at the 6.2. That's my guy right there. All right, so top available wide receivers are Chris Godwin, who I actually would like, Xavier Worthy, who I'd also like, DeAndre Hopkins, Rashee Rice, who I definitely like, Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas, Jr., Christian Watson, and JSN. All right, I did not think Godwin was going to last. Did not think James Cook was going to last. Rashad White, Kenneth Walker, Monty, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, your top available running backs. I might just go true hero running back here and like just not go running back till picks 96, 97. And just rely on good old CMC. We'll see. Because if I can lock up Rashee Rice and Christian Watson right here, I will absolutely do it. If I don't get Rashee Rice, it kind of stings, but it's not the end of the world. Rashad White would be hard for me to pass up, though, if he falls here. But I don't know. I mean, this one team has just got Devon Achane. The other teams here are pretty okay. I didn't even pay attention to the team currently drafting, but they go Kenneth Walker. So, I mean, it would kind of make sense for Team 3 here to take Rashad White. He is the top available player right now. His ADP is 64.3, so just a couple spots back here. But overall, I'm okay with these picks here. I mean, we got 3 selections left, and there goes Hopkins. Yeah, there goes Rashad White. I was starting to get a little excited. So now it's up to your mama, 1994, who he picks right here. C.J. Stroud, Rashee Rice, Lad McConkey, Christian Watson, Monty, JSN, your top available players. It's kind of a tough mix right here. He goes Stroud. Not a bad pick. It's kind of heavy at running back over there. All right, so let's go Rashee Rice. Let's go Christian Watson. And I am liking this start. C-Mac, Debo, Evans, Mahomes, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and Christian Watson. A true hero running back team so far. We've got, a little bit of risk upside at wide receiver here, but I think it can pay off for sure. For sure. All right, so looking ahead to picks 96 and 97. Running back's going to suck. I mean, I need to draft 2 running backs in a row. And I've got 5 wide receivers, but still, like, there is the Rashee Rice situation here. And Christian Watson, prone to injury. Then we're looking at Debo, Mike Evans, and Hollywood, who are all veteran-esque players. But really, picks 96, 97, unless like we consider a tight end there, which I'm probably not. Like we'd have to reach and go David Njoku, Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, if anything there, and I just don't think it's worth it. We might not even have to reach for Schultz or Goddard, but it's just a weird kind of area for tight end. Really, I mean, Brock Bowers the other. Bowers or Njoku would be the most. And I just, I'd even rather go wide receiver over those guys. But if we're looking at wide receiver at that range at 96, 97, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Lockett, Rashid Shaheed, Romeo Doubs, Josh Palmer, it just makes so much more sense to take 2 running backs. So we'll see. We shall see. Shane says, I really like the start. Thank you, sir. I'm actually pretty happy right now. But we'll, these next couple rounds are really what determines the draft, right? All right, J-Dubs over here with Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry, Christian Kirk, Jaden Reed, James Cook, Aaron Jones. Solid start. Henry and Cook, where you got them, tremendous value for your RB1 and RB2. every now and then I worry. Like I have a team that's kind of heavy on like the Chiefs, heavy on the Niners right now. It's like, what if these two teams who are just in the Super Bowl aren't good next year? What if Mike Evans actually sucks next year? What if Christian Watson's career ends in training camp? These are the fearful questions we ask in August. Taylor Gang in the house. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Oh, look, the chat's showing on the screen. Good. We all ready for the Malik Neighbors takeover? I've been kind of like down on Malik Neighbors. Not on Malik Neighbors, on the situation. On Daniel Jones. But then I'm kind of starting to like warm up to him a little bit. See where he went tonight. 3.7. So players still on the board, at least based off tonight's draft, would be Zay Flowers, Stephon Diggs, Dell, Pickens, Kirk, Higgins, Cooper. I'd probably still go Zay Flowers over Malik Neighbors, but I could see an argument against the rest of the guys. And I do really like Christian Kirk, but he's a guy you might be able to get a little bit later. But here's the thing with Malik Neighbors is like, we know the talent's there. We know the situation with Daniel Jones is like, nah. But he is the only option on this team. I like Randall Robinson in terms of like upside. Who in the world is? I mean, like we know, not that he made a huge impact last year, but Darren Waller's gone. Devin Singletary's not going to be stealing catches, right? Isaiah Hodgins, Allen Robinson, Isaiah McKenzie, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt. So, I mean, Daniel Jones has had chemistry with Hodgins and Slayton in the past. McKenzie is like an okay slot receiver. I'm not going to say anything about Allen Robinson. Don't worry. Let me make these 2 draft picks here. Let's just go James Conner and Raheem Mostert. But yeah, it's like I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right? But maybe Slayton and Hodgins get some production. But Hodgins was trash last year after having a pretty solid end to 2022. Actually, quite frankly, he was pretty good weeks 13 through 17. 18 didn't matter to them, but because they were actually a playoff team 2 years ago. But yeah, I like Theo Johnson at tight end. I think he has red zone upside. I think Daniel Bellinger can be okay, but it's like there's just nothing else going on here, in any way, shape, or form in terms of pass catchers. And there's nobody as talented as Malik Neighbors. I mean, there was a point where we were starting to argue like maybe Malik Neighbors is better than Marvin Harrison Jr., So the target share should be there, and volume is typically king, right? Definitely at running back, wide receiver, typically. But also, I always talk about like bad offenses still produce valuable fantasy players, good fantasy players. It's just how bad is this situation actually going to be? Are we going to see Drew Lock play? Are we going to see the return of Tommy DeVito? I am all in on a Tommy DeVito return. Don't get me wrong. But does it really matter? So Daniel Jones played in 5 games last year. Let's just say 4 games. I know. It doesn't really matter. I mean, he had 20 passing attempts in week 5 and 4 rushing attempts before he got hurt. Okay. The numbers are pretty bad. Like they're pretty awful. Okay, he played well in week 2 against Arizona and led them to that comeback on the road. That was one of the craziest games of last year. Like, let's just be real. It truly was. But anyways, he had 31 fantasy points in that game, 321 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, 59 yards on the ground, 1 interception, no fumbles. Other than that, the numbers are bad. He didn't throw a single passing touchdown outside of that game last year. He did not rush for a single touchdown outside of that game last year. Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. Daniel Jones also played some in week 9. That's when he got hurt for the whole season. But it doesn't really matter. I thought that was wrong. He had 9 passing attempts, 4 completions before getting hurt. But also, it doesn't really matter for the point we're making here, right? The numbers were just bad last year. After a pretty solid 2022 outing that earned him a big contract, but the Giants also went to the playoffs. 3,200 passing yards, 15. I didn't realize this was so bad. 15 passing touchdowns to 5 picks, 7 rushing touchdowns, 708 rushing yards. He was the QB9 in fantasy. But, yeah, I didn't realize the passing numbers were that bad. I mean, that's still pretty gross. Even for a guy who led you to the playoffs to get the contract he got. Anyways, that doesn't really make me feel better about Malik Neighbors. I mean, I guess if you're still throwing for 3,200 passing yards in a fully healthy season, it's just like, I think PPR-wise, Malik Neighbors can definitely be fine. But I think the touchdown upside is capped. I don't know if you guys agree. I mean, Danny Dimes has never thrown for more than... He had 24 passing touchdowns his rookie season. That's his max. The next highest was the 15 passing touchdowns we just talked about. All right, sorry, guys. I'm on the clock. I'm just going best running backs available before it's too late. Man, the Jerome Ford hype train is heating up. All right, so this is an interesting team. We're like set at... I totally forgot to check tight end. Oh, I totally meant to go Dalton Schultz with one of those picks. Crap. Just kidding. It'll be okay. We're okay here. I mean, we got Mahomes at quarterback, so we fear nobody here. C-Mac, Connor, Mostert, Corum, Gus the Bus for a hero running back team. I will take this. Only one repeating bye week here. We can still draft one more long shot running back. We're going to get some wide receiver depth in the later rounds, but we got Debo, Evans, Hollywood, Rashid Rice, and Watson. So, I mean, we've got enough stacking ability here with Mahomes to feel pretty good. All right, so Taylor Gang says, my thought is got to buy the talent, not the situation, even in redraft. Yeah. I just wish he was going like one round later. But, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily. You know, I've also been in a position, like, I also have not been in a position where I'm drafting Malik Neighbors a lot because of my, like, draft position. Like, he just isn't a player who's coming across my board frequently. So, J-Dubs, I'm glad you could get Dalton Schultz. I sacrificed him for you. Shane, that's with every team. Anyone can get hurt. Don't sweat it. Wait, which player is that? Oh, that was when I was talking about. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Great draft. I want to know how this team does at the end. What underdog tournament is this? This is Best Ball Mania. I just got to hit on some late round tight ends. So we got picks 144 and 145. I might reach for a wide receiver right there, just to build up depth. Because by the times we pick at 192, 193, I mean, there's nobody who I really feel good about at wide receiver. But it picks 144, 145. 5. I mean, right now, and I won't be surprised if more than one of these players are drafted before we pick, but we got Fryermuth, Komet, Hawkinson, Musgrave is really the tier I like to hit. And this is probably a 3 tight end team. Shane, I'll try to remember to name this team so we can track it, but I am dumb and usually don't remember. But honestly, yeah, I feel very good about this team so far. We'll see. Crap. This is like not the first time that I'm going to come out of a draft with Pat Mahomes and Baker Mayfield as my quarterbacks. Like, I like totally forgot to even try and hunt for Purdy. I actually was going to try, so I would have had to take in. See, it just wasn't going to work. I was going to have to take him over Connor or Mostert, and we needed those guys. Because CMC, Debo, Purdy, CMC is still going to catch a couple off of him, right? Now, I will draft Ricky Pearsall if he's here, just once again to correlate. Yeah, and we're getting trashed at tight end right here, man. I totally meant to draft Dalton Schultz. I mean, I like feel good that I got Blake Corum and Gus Edwards, and like there's nobody at running back I'm confident in who's left, but I meant to draft Dalton Schultz with one of those 2 running backs. Because this team, I like Dalton Schultz. You guys know that going into next year. And this team's going to be weak at tight end, but really good elsewhere. So let's go, Ricky. That's my boy. Ricky Bobby at 12.2. And I'm going to go Luke Musgrave. I was about to go Hawkinson. There's, I think, more upside with Hawkinson. But the risk of him missing time and, like, significant time scares me. Because, like, Pete keeps talking about it, and it's like Hawkinson could very well miss, like, 10 weeks. 10-plus weeks. And we just don't have a timetable right now. So if you can get Hawkinson as your tight end 2 behind somebody that you trust, like I'm okay with that for sure in best ball, because I think he could really pay off in those later weeks. But I just don't know right now. For this team, I'd rather just go Musgrave, and I do like Luke Musgrave a lot going into next season. All right, so it picks 168 and 169. I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I'm happy that I got Ricky Pearsall. I didn't think he'd be there. But I'm getting close to when I have to theoretically draft Baker Mayfield. Who has Chris Godwin? Chuck Amazing, who also only has 1 quarterback, Dak Prescott. And could be potentially looking to steal my boy away from me. We'll see. A player who I don't think I've drafted once is Caleb Williams. And Underdog drafts. I don't think I have any shares of Caleb Williams. I need to build a team where I stack some Bears and get Caleb Williams. He's kind of worth it. I mean, he's cheap. He's a 10th round quarterback. All right, here's a big run at running back. No pun intended. Rico the Doodle, Ty Chandler, Kendra Miller, Jalen Wright, Jaleel McLaughlin, Ray Davis, Tyler Algier. Shane says, I draft Hawkinson a lot behind Njoku. Yeah, I don't mind him behind a stable quarterback, especially in best ball. Behind another stable tight end, not a stable quarterback. Sorry, I've had a long day. But I just like for this team, right, where it's my tight end one, I don't feel good about going Hawkinson there. Dang. How does man Demarcus Robinson's ADP is just rising, dude. I almost that pisses me off. Cuz he is my most drafted player on Underdog. But his ADP, we've just seen it rise and rise and rise. I mean, there he goes at pick 155. It's not even team with Stafford. Like this team's got Puka, and Stafford's not gone. See, like, I know this is a team that has Kyler Murray and does not need it. This is a team that should have targeted Goff, having Gibbs and Laporta, has Puka, and now has Robinson. Yeah, I mean, if you just went Goff over Mooney and then got Stafford at 14.2. I don't know. I just like that more. If you're out there, round boy. And then over Kyler, you can just take literally whoever you want. This team's pretty light at running back. So, I mean, going Monty or Zach Moss. I mean, Monty, once again, would have made sense. But, oh well, I'm not drafting that team. But that's what I would have done. And I'm on YouTube. So, but at this point, I'm kind of hoping that Stafford and right now, Cousins, Stafford, Rodgers, and Watson are all available at pick 161. Which Rodgers, Watson makes sense, but I'm kind of hoping that some of these QBs get pushed back here, especially now that Demarcus Robinson's gone. And there goes Stafford, who I just realized has the same bye week as Mahomes, so he wouldn't have even been a viable option for me. But I will draft Kirk Cousins if he's on the board. I'm just in a tough spot because I need to get another wide receiver here. But if I can get Cousins and Mayfield, I feel like super good about my quarterback room. But this is also a range where I think after pick 170, the drop off at wide receiver is drastic. What's the hate on Captain Kirk tonight? I didn't even realize Chuba Hubbard was available. He's like my favorite running back in this range. Because Randall Robinson and Malachi Corley are like the only. You know what? Screw it. Screw it. We're going to go 2 tight ends to end and 1 more wide receiver. We're going to need some tight end upside at 192, 193. And we're just going to ride or die with this wide receiver room. Wendell Robinson, Malachi Corley, like maybe Troy Franklin. Really the only wide receivers left that I think present like viable upside. Tight end's getting slaughtered right now too, and I usually don't draft 3 quarterbacks, but this just gives us like no doubt at quarterback, in my opinion. Mahomes, Cousins, Mayfield, and we want Baker here because we have Mike Evans. Like, it just gives us a second stack. We have Mahomes, right? And he's got Hollywood, and he's got Rashee Rice. So we have 2 stacks here, okay? Kirk is just the insurance policy, right? Hero running back build from the 1.1. C-Mac, Connor, Mostert, Corum, Edwards is our RB room. I can truthfully live with that. Like, 2 week 6 buys, but I don't even know if Corum's really getting a tremendous amount of touches at this point anyways. So, Debo, Mike Evans, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Christian Watson, Ricky Pearsall. So we still have that correlation with San Francisco. 3 San Fran players, even though we didn't get Purdy. And then I screwed up at tight end, forgot to draft Dalton Schultz, but that resulted in a better running back room because we got Corum and Edwards back to back. And I still like Luke Musgrave going into the season. I just think his upside is potentially capped there, but now we have the correlation with Christian Watson and Luke Musgrave. Go Pack, go. Right? All right. So, still a good draft. So now we try to get one more wide receiver and two more tight ends. The other option at pick 168, 169 could have been get Baker and get Cade Otton. I don't think Cade Otton's going to fall out to 192. He is the third ranked player on the board. But this is also the point in the draft where sometimes teams are just filling positional needs. You can see ADP start to fade a little bit here, but I think that's a little drastic. His ADP is 175. He's already like 5 spots back, right? 6 spots back. I still think Bryce Young is a really good value at this point in drafts. I know it's crazy. But like if you are drafting Deontay Johnson or Xavier Leggett, like as your QB3, or maybe you go like really aggressive elsewhere after getting a Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or a Mahomes, and you just want to draft 2 quarterbacks for your build. I'm not expecting massive, spectacular anythings out of Bryce Young, but I think that if you do end up with some of those other players like Deontay Johnson, if you believe in Xavier Leggett, maybe also you have a Jonathan Brooks on your team, not only is it a really cheap price for Bryce Young, but Jatavion Sanders, who is a talented rookie tight end, is also really cheap. His ADP is 211. So it is good to identify those cheaper stacks in the later rounds as well. All right. Okay, I think this guy's going to get Cade Otton. Okay, he doesn't. Okay, so all the teams in front of me have 2 tight ends. Some people want 3 tight ends, though. So, nobody talk for the next minute until these picks are over, because we need Cade Otton. Okay, good vibes for Cade Otton only. Now, the worst thing, Cade Otton's a top-rated player, so if a team goes auto pick, which I think this team is doing, they're probably just going to get... Okay, he gets Darius Slayton. Maybe he has a Q. I can't speak right now. I can't talk. But also, you look at some of these teams, like the team with Hawkinson, it would make sense to get another tight end. Conklin is your tight end too. Like these are still builds that could use another tight end like Isaiah Likely. Yes. There's no wide receivers who are I'm like I have to draft them. So give me Cade Otton. Give me Chicken Conquo. This is a beautiful draft. Okay. Luke Musgrave, Cade Otton, Chicken Conquo. That is a late round tight end room right there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Shane, he's going a lot of my 3 QB builds. If I can't get an elite quarterback early, easy stacks you can get later, 100%. So it's going to be hard. Xavier Leggett goes at the 12-11, right? And Deontay went a little bit against ADP, which is not surprising to me. But like he went before Chris Godwin, Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas Jr., Hopkins, Rashee Rice, Watson, McConkey. He was going far closer to the Rashee Rice, Watson, McConkey area. It's not crazy back, but he is a player that I think a lot of fantasy managers are definitely warming up to and drafting more of a player we've been talking about a lot throughout the offseason, but he's still a cheap wide receiver one, right? It's like the only other correlation is probably Jonathan Brooks, Chuba Hubbard. Because like I said, Jatavon Sanders goes super late. So yeah, just cheap stacking ability there. Even if you just get Deontay Johnson, right? Who I like in a lot of my builds anyways because he's a cheap wide receiver 4 or 5. If you go heavier at running back, wide receiver 3, you know? And then, yeah, like, if you don't get Xavier Leggett, Jatavon Sanders super cheap, Chuba super cheap, and Brooks 8.3 is still cheap at the end of the day. So, and J-Dubs drafts him. Yeah, I mean, you basically win 0 QB, so Watson was a good value for you, and Bryce Young makes a lot of sense. Oh, yeah, Adam Thielen. Sorry, Adam, I forgot about you, bro. Thielen's also cheap. And yeah, I don't even think I don't know if I've barely drafted Adam Thielen, but I don't think he should be just counted out of this offense, even though Leggett and Johnson are there. That chemistry with Bryce Young and him is going to trickle over to some degree, I would think. Where did Thielen go tonight? $14.1. I'm just going to start building teams where I only draft the Panthers. Like, I'm going to ignore I'm just joking, by the way, but I'm going to ignore everything. I'm just going to draft Bryce Young as my QB1. Jatavon Sanders is my tight end 1. My primary 3 wide receivers are going to be Leggett, Johnson, and Thielen. That's going to have a crazy running back room. Just kidding. But it's a thought. Johnny Edwards in the chat. Bears 1985. What's up, man? Good to see you. Hope you're having a blessed evening as well. Always great to hear from you, my dude. Okie doke, artichokes. I got the last pick in the draft. I don't know if there's going to be a wide receiver even worth taking. And I don't quite know there's going to be a running back worth taking. I'm not drafting a tight end 4 or a QB 4. There goes Dameon Pierce. I was just eyeing him. I can't figure out the Eagles RB2 situation. Is it Shipley or is it the GOAT Kenneth Gainwell? Only time will tell. So, yeah, I mean, Donta Foreman's the only guy I would... I think the Eagles' backup running backs have upside, though. And I don't want anything to happen to Kenneth, but if he misses time... Or Kenneth, gosh, I'm tired. Anything happens to Saquon, but, you know, like... One of these guys is going to be plugged right in, if not both. Shane, Adam Thielen is long gone. He's gone in the 14th round. We're toast, bro. Yeah, I mean, there's more players available here than I thought there would be. So, DJ Chark, Odo Beckham, Donta Foreman, Will Shipley, Kenneth Gainwell are the players I would take here. And I prefer it to be Chark or Odo Beckham. Because I'd like to get one more wide receiver on this team. This was a good team. We lived up to the title tonight. And we're going to get one of these 3 players that I'm okay with. How do you guys feel about Greg the Torch? Dortch. Gosh, his stats last year suck. Johnny Wilson con at 18.3. Oh, your mama snipes us. snipes us. Takes Odell from me. This was a nice little draft. Mahomes, Cousins, Mayfield, C-Mac, Connor, Mostert, Blake Corum, Gus the Bus, Debo, Evans, Hollywood, Rashee Rice, Christian Watson, Ricky Pearsall, DJ Chark, Luke Musgrave, Cade Otton, Chicken Conquo. That is a team right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a team. Okay, we had some good value come to us tonight. There's some risk here at wide receiver. This isn't a hero RB team. Tight end has risk. Don't get me wrong. But all in all, strategy in mind, this is a nice little squad. We got Mahomes with his boys, Hollywood and Rashee Rice. That presents like a lot of upside in the best ball format by itself. Okay, we got C-Mac hanging out with Debo. We didn't end up with Purdy. It wasn't in the books, but it happens. Then we got the best quarterback of all time, Baker Mayfield. Okay, almost got Rachaad White in the draft, but we didn't. With Mike Evans, with Cade Otton. Okay, we got Christian Watson, Luke Musgrave correlated with each other. Yeah, Mahomes, Cousins, Mayfield, C-Mac, Connor, Mostert, Corum, Gus the Bus, Debo, Mike Evans, Hollywood, Rashee Rice, Christian Watson, Ricky Pearsall, DJ Chark. I'm not like overly hype on DJ Chark, but I like him in that range. Luke Musgrave, Cade Otton, Chicken Conquo. I can live with it. I feel all right. That's a team right there. All right. We got Watson, Young, and Carr. Let's see. So, no stacking here, which is okay. I was just checking. You don't have to stack. Late round quarterback build, I think you did okay. You know what's going to happen, right? Upside's capped. Henry, Cook, Jones, Singletary, Ray Davis. Actually, pretty solid, especially if you believe in Ray Davis, based on ADP. Not bad there. Wilson, Adams, Kirk, Reed was a beautiful start, especially considering Cook and Henry were sprinkled in between and right after those guys. Lockett, Shakir, Myers were very good values. Roman Wilson, I still think is a good value. Dalton Schultz, Johnny Smith. See, like I'm okay with that. But I maybe prefer one more tight end. But I don't know who you would have taken. It's basically like you're relying on Johnny Smith here, right? If he sucks, then you're in a bad spot. But I think Schultz was going to be productive enough. So if he doesn't suck, you're in a good spot. Not bad. I'm not going to question what you do. All right. I want to try and name that team. Shane likes this team 7-24. Boom. Perfect. All right, so I mean, I think we truly threw together an amazing team tonight. For what it's worth. So there's your draft tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to do one tonight. Jacob says there was a team with only 2 running backs through the first 12 rounds. It was weird. That's the beauty of it. There's always some weird teams. Sometimes it helps us. Sometimes it doesn't. But I'm happy with this team tonight. So, all right, guys. Hit the like on the way out. Links are down below. Join our Discord so you guys know when we're going live. You guys get our mock draft invites. You guys know when I'm drafting on Underdog. All that good stuff. And I should be back on tomorrow for another Underdog draft. So it looks like most of the fast clock, yeah, like the mini Schnauzer 5 is 20 seconds, but that is pretty highly, 92.9. Probably by the time I get to stream tomorrow, it's going to be filled. Probably. We could always do a weekly winners night. I could do another best ball mania tomorrow night. That's about it. I could try the marathon. We'll see. But we're drafting Underdog no matter what tomorrow. So, all right, guys. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Everyone have a great rest of your night. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Love you guys, man. Loves community. Love the Catch fam. I'll talk to you guys soon. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch.